I became married in 1997, roughly 20 years ago, and it's been a wonderful, loving journey. There's been a few bumps along the way, as you'd expect, but all in all, it's been wonderful, until recently when I decided to play away from home. This film is an offering of atonement. I'd been nothing but faithful up to this point, to the point of, I don't know, obsessive. It started with the beige Performer, and then the real madness started with the Gs. I bought them all. Even that one, it was a G4, the one that looked like it'd been designed behind Joni Ives' back. I bought the first iPod. Do you remember the one that had a spinning optical drive in? So when you took it to the gym, it skipped. It was like you were wearing a turntable around your neck. I bought every iteration of the iPhone, iPads. When I had a family, even more iPads, iPad minis, and Mac minis that we ran the TV off, and Apple TVs that we ran the TV off. I've got a G5, and then I've got a Pro Tools rig, so I've got another G5, and then I've got an assistant, so I've got another G5, and then the cylinders came out, or Darth Vader's helmets, the dustbins, so I had to get 2 of those. And then I started video editing, and I needed one to process 4K videos. I've done pretty much all of the laptops, I think. I started with the Titanium, it was called, and then I went big, and I went small, and then I went really small down to that 12-inch thing that was great for airplanes, because you could have it on the table with a glass of wine next to it. I've done the Airs, the MacBook Pros. In fact, full disclosure, how many kind of working laptops made by Apple am I using at the moment? I kid you fucking not. And let's not forget that I part own a business that has a lot. So as I say, totally mentally obsessed, deranged even, loyal to the point of ridiculousness. And that's not even the laptops that the guys take home. So what changed? Well, about 3 years ago, it suddenly dawned on me that I'd basically stopped thinking, stopped staring out of the window and getting lost in my own thoughts. It was as if I'd become like a researcher for a TV show that never aired. I was just perpetually on my devices, Googling, I don't know, my brother caught me Googling panic attacks in space once. So I decided to go off-grid, I got rid of that, and I replaced it with one of these, which was such an odd thing to do at the time that my friend Pascal actually turned it into a cartoon. Then I decided to move to Scotland and become what's known as a Willy, which means work in London, live in Edinburgh. And with this amount of travelling, it was absolutely essential that I remained on grid, was able to help run the company and stay in touch with my family. So I decided to go smart again, just at the point where my kind of relationship with Apple had hit a rough patch. I don't know what caused this kind of shaky patch. Maybe it was iTunes, a program I think we all love to hate, like a little kind of younger brother that you can't get rid of.
You've got to laugh. You've got to laugh. Let me put it in my secret laugh box.
I don't know, maybe just some marriages after 20 years, they hit a rocky patch. Whatever the reason, when it came to re-embracing the familiar bosom of the iPhone, I was distracted by the younger, flirtier nature of the Samsung and the Casey Neistats that seemed to be having fun with them. So I got one of those fancy Galaxy S8 Pluses, I think, and I didn't miss the iPhone. The sex with this new partner was fantastic and frequent and exciting. And it wasn't like a case of you don't know what you've got till it's gone. It was more, I just started to miss the qualities of the iPhone, of Apple. The S8 just does things that Apple stuff would never ever do. I mean, when you switch the thing on, you've got this starting screen, which is really mega cool. So I was getting very excited about that. But then you get this icon set. I mean, what the fuck? It's as if someone at Samsung has gone, oh my God, it's great, we've got the opening screen, it's fucking fantastic, people are gonna shit out of their arses, but we just need to do the icons. I know, your daughter's into art. I don't know what accent that was. It's just an accent I'd like to title World. There's absolute fucking howlers on this machine. I mean, no one is talking about this, and I'm sure there's fixes, but they're not fixable in the 5 seconds I've Googled them on the internet, and I'm an internet brat, so if you can't fix them in 5 seconds, it's invalid. So let's try and make a call. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, fake number, and with my big fat jazzy sausage fingers, it goes back to home because the home button is also over the telephone button. Let's try and do an Instagram. So I'm just going to hit plus here. it goes back home. Now, I know that not everyone has massively fat thumbs like me, but I do. There's this thing called Bixby that really should fuck off, and you can't reassign that key. Yeah, people go on about the battery life of these things, but it's like one of those terrible Teslas that stops every time you go to a traffic light. So literally in seconds, I'm having to redo and then iris scan and all of this kind of stuff. That's probably a little bit ranty. I think the main kind of killer for me with this is Google, Android, Samsung and Apple hate each other, so much so that it's just basically no connectivity between the different platforms. I guess the thing with me, with Apple, is that in general I find their stuff empathises with the end user. It starts with what we need to do and works back from there, as opposed to starting with a list of specifications and working up from there. Enables me, someone who isn't really a tech head, tech slag, yeah, to intuit creative pastimes and enjoy the kind of mad life that I have, very much in partnership. Kind of like a marriage, and I guess that's why I draw the comparison. It has its ups, it has its downs, but the end result is greater than the sum of its parts. So I guess this is my way of apologising. Sorry I ever doubted you, and if you'll have me, I'm coming home. With a notch. And I love the notch. Fuck balls, I've left my fucking camera on the shitting platform.